You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a Joplin woman loses her life in a car crash on River Road.
And a head-on collision in Lynn County, Kansas takes the life of one man.
And we've got ourselves a mild start to our Thursday morning. Sunshine out there, but some pop-up storms possible later today. We'll tell you who's got those rain chances coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. It is 7 o'clock now on this Thursday morning. We are that much closer to Friday.
I know, it's almost Friday.
Yeah,
Yay.
It is great. I told you earlier, it feels like it's just been a longer week than usual. I don't know. We got some projects going on here in the studio, and maybe it's just been that making it feel like a longer week. I don't know, but it has felt like a longer week. And we've had some strong, severe thunderstorms across the area, especially in the parts of northeast Oklahoma, getting hammered pretty hard.
Well, that's very true. And nearly 100,000 Tulsa residents are still without power today after a storm hit the area over the weekend.
Reporter CJ Macklin spoke to a couple of residents whose health issues are making the situation even worse.
I was leaving work actually when the power went out. We had just pulled up and it completely went out, and we've been out without power since then, and it's getting hot.
Laria Gonzalez and her family have been without power since that storm hit Tulsa on Saturday night. But
the power company came out, the guy was on the phone. He said that it'd be a couple days, but he didn't give an exact date, so we don't know when it's coming back on.
the family has now heard that power could be restored by this Saturday, June 24th. But her daughter has epilepsy, which causes her to have seizures if she doesn't receive her medicine, which is refrigerated, and if she gets too hot. And her sister uses an insulin pump and insulin pens because she is a diabetic.
She has 2 more boxes right over here. I don't need her to end up in the hospital again because she's been hospitalized before. And then my sister's diabetic. Her insulin has to be refrigerated. It's hard.
I spoke with another North Tulsa resident who was a little over 10 minutes away from Laria. She is also a diabetic, but she doesn't have the luxury of a diabetic pump.
For me, being a type 1 diabetic, I'm insulin dependent and I don't have an insulin pump, so I have to take daily injections. And the insulin has to be temperature controlled in a refrigerator, generally below 70 degrees, no colder than like 60, but definitely no higher than 70, 75 degrees.
Just 3 houses down from her, their power was restored last night, but hers is still off. So now she has to go stay with a friend in East Tulsa.
So now that I don't have electricity, I have no way to cool my insulin. Luckily, I was able to get like a small lunchbox, but I can imagine other people who have medical conditions that require electricity.
Well, Tulsa is expected to see temperatures soaring into the 90s for the rest of this week.
Yeah, we've had those heat advisories in northeast Oklahoma just because there's no power and there's nowhere to stay cool. And then yesterday, those storms out to our west surged through Tulsa. And, they weren't severe, but they brought in 40, 50 mile an hour wind gusts. So already damaged tree limbs or power poles made recovery and restoration efforts much more difficult through the day yesterday.
Pick up a pile and it blows away, pick up another pile.
Yeah, it was making it much more difficult for them.
Catch a break.
Here in our area, we missed out on the severe weather yesterday. We do have some pop-up storm chances possible as we head into the afternoon, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. So we go about 2, 3 o'clock today, and we'll see that possibility of a few stray pop-up thunderstorms, especially or primarily in southeast Kansas into northeast Oklahoma. That's not to say we couldn't see a stray shower in southwest Missouri, but in all honesty, the better chances are off into our western counties. And then, because these are pop-up storms, once we start to lose that daytime heating, we will lose these thunderstorms. We also have the possibility of a stray pop-up storm or two as we head into the late evening hours, late afternoon, early evening rather, across the area. But this, as you can see, is going to be considerably more isolated. All right. 20th and Rangeline, MoDOT camera there. We're looking good. Sunshine, a few clouds out there. And same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. Our camera 7th and Rangeline. You can see some partly cloudy skies, warming right back up. We're at 70, dew point 65, humidity 84%. So again, it's going to be uncomfortable this afternoon. We're sitting at 69 Iola, 73 Chanute, 70 Chautauqua, Miami, and Neosho, and 69 in Monette. We get our morning started. We're going to have those mostly sunny skies, a few clouds, low 80s by late morning. And then as we head into the afternoon, we got highs today, primarily the upper 80s, a stray 90-degree reading or two possible. But otherwise, we'll see partly cloudy skies, those pop-up storms possible. A little cooler this evening. Those pop-up storms die out. We go partly cloudy overnight, and temperatures back in the low to mid 60s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A former court employee is suing the state of Kansas. The plaintiff in this lawsuit, Terry Thurman, who was employed for more than 21 years as the clerk of the Labette County District Court in Parsons. Now, according to lawsuit documents, Thurman claims she was subjected to a hostile work environment based on her sex or gender. The lawsuit specifically targets instances that allegedly occurred between employees of the 11th District, including Thurman and Judge Fred Johnson. The allegations highlight instances where Judge Johnson allegedly expressed aggressive behaviors, used aggressive language, and continued prolonged verbal harassment, creating hostile and uncomfortable work environments. January 21st of 2020, a judge with the 11th Judicial District ordered Judge Johnson only sit in Oswego. That order was later rescinded, allowing Johnson to sit at either Parsons or Oswego. And then the original order was reinstated in July of 2021. However, according to Thurman, this action had little effect on any issues and resulted in her submitting a letter of resignation effective December 2021. Thurman is now suing for damages and various costs. Judge Johnson's office declined our request for comment. We also reached out to both Thurman's attorney and the Kansas Attorney General. We have not received a response. Pittsburgh resident says she got video of her neighbor brutally abusing a dog. Now, the incident happened on Tuesday. The following pictures may be disturbing to some viewers. The images sent by Fatima Bader appeared to show a man choking a dog and hitting the animal's face. After recording the scene from her window, Fatima says she called animal control, who did not answer. Then she contacted police.
When I walked to the window, I saw the guy brutally beating the dog, choking him, beating him, pulling him from his ears, dragging him everywhere. He suffered so many injuries because he was spitting blood.
According to Fatima, authorities removed the dog from the property. KOAM tried contacting the man who appears on the video, but was unable to get a hold of him. The Pittsburgh Police Department says 19-year-old Shantae's Wright was issued a court summons for cruelty to an animal. On Wednesday, Pitt State hosted a discussion about plans for a Center for Nursing Leadership in Kansas. Several Kansas nursing schools came to PSU for the discussion, which continues a previous meeting in Topeka. Officials say a nursing leadership center would strengthen the nursing pipeline, making it easier and more efficient to develop nursing leaders in the state.
If you don't have enough nurses, you either close beds or reduce services or hire agency staff at a much higher cost. So we're here tonight in Pittsburgh to work on some of the systemic issues that contribute to a shortage of nurses.
According to PSU, Kansas is one of 10 states that does not have a state nursing workforce center. A Joplin woman loses her life when the car she's riding in crashes into a brick mailbox. The crash occurred last night at about 8:30 along River Road, just east of Main Street in Joplin. Chevy Cobalt traveling west on River Road left the roadway to the left and overturned into a large brick mailbox. The driver of the vehicle suffered minor injuries. Passenger Liberty Fowler of Joplin was pronounced dead at the scene. And a head-on collision in Lynn County takes the life of a Blue Mound, Kansas man. On Wednesday, around 7:30 p.m., authorities responded to reports of a crash on Highway K7, just outside of Mound City, Kansas. Troopers say a 1992 Ford F-150 traveling south crossed the center line and struck a 1977 Kenworth head-on. F-150 came to rest in the southbound ditch and caught fire. The driver of the F-150, Denver Lee Reagan Jr., was pronounced dead at the scene. Next of kin has been notified, and the driver of the Kenworth did not suffer any apparent injuries. On Wednesday, the Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh announces plans for expansion projects. The airport hosted an open house, and that's where it announced plans for an apron reconstruction and expansion project. People who were there got to enjoy refreshments at the terminal building, meet local pilots and airport users, and gain insight into the upcoming improvements at the airport.
Initiate a project to reconstruct the parking apron at the Pittsburgh Municipal Airport. So project will reconstruct and expand the existing aircraft parking apron. It will allow us to safely and efficiently serve both jet traffic and single-engine general aviation traffic.
Construction on the project is set to begin July 5th and finish in the late fall. Well, some Southwest Missouri art lovers have a chance to view a piece of art that's not usually on public display. Heritage by Sherry Petty is on display at the Southwest Missouri Bank, Neosho North. It's usually on display in Benton Elementary School, but due to renovations, it'll be at SMB for the next 3 months. Painting is a large acrylic artwork commissioned in 2006 by the Newton County Tourism Council, influenced by the regionalist painter Thomas Hart Benton, a Neosho native.
So we thought we had a 7x7 mural coming in, and then it was a 9x7 mural coming in. So we didn't actually have a big enough space to hang it here, but it's still here and we want people to come see it. It's a good place to come see it because not everybody's at the school.
Painting focuses on the history of Neosho and Newton County and includes references to Neosho's annual Dogwood Tour and the city's nickname as the Flower Box City. That's a look at our top stories and a quick check of the forecast this morning. Coming up, Will Davis from the JPD stops by to tell us all about crime prevention tips. And why there's a concern about a decline in blood donations.
We've got ourselves another live look from Rainbow Bridge in Cherokee County out by Baxter Springs.
Casino's 17th anniversary celebration, and we're rocking.
In Health Watch this morning, the CDC releases new recommendations concerning the RSV vaccine. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says Wednesday that adults ages 65 years and older should get an RSV vaccine. This comes as pharma giants GSK and Pfizer released 2 new vaccines for the virus. In serious cases, the virus could lead to bronchiolitis or pneumonia. Up to 10,000 people ages 65 and older die each year in the United States from RSV. The next step for the CDC's director to endorse the vaccines. A new survey finds U.S. adults' confidence in science has dropped. A poll by the NORC at the University of Chicago shows 39% of Americans have great confidence in the scientific community. That's compared to 48% in 2018 and 2021. Confidence levels of Republicans fall even lower than that, dropping 22% since 2018. While Democrats' confidence in science only dropped 2% within the same time frame. Political experts say prevention and vaccines for the COVID-19 vaccine helped make the divide in views grow. And a concerning decline in blood donations since last month could put stress on U.S. blood supplies through the American Red Cross, and the organization worries the number of blood donations will only continue to go down. Mandy Gaither has more on the impact of low blood donations and how you can help.
As summer heats up, blood donations are going down.
Last month, we collected over 26,000 fewer blood donations than needed to meet the needs of patients.
Tiffany Taylor with the American Red Cross says it's common to see blood donation declines this time of year as more people are traveling and fewer blood drives in places like schools. But she says the need for blood doesn't take a summer break.
When blood donations are low, this can lead to blood shortages, which affect our ability to support cancer patients in their treatment. It affects our ability to respond to medical emergencies and chronic blood conditions.
If blood isn't readily available, it can also lead to postponement of elective surgeries. Taylor says low donations are especially concerning for the approximately 100,000 Americans who suffer from sickle cell disease.
There is no widely available cure, and they often rely on regular blood transfusions to manage their pain and prevent life-threatening complications.
While donors of all blood types are needed, the Red Cross is especially in need of type O, which is always in high demand.
Anyone interested in giving blood can schedule an appointment at redcrossblood.org. You can also call 1-800-RED-CROSS or go through the American Red Cross donor app. Even if you're traveling this summer, you can type in your zip code and find a nearby blood drive.
We do have that possibility of some pop-up storms later this afternoon, primarily southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. The rest of us, though, are going to remain dry but partly cloudy and still hot out there. Quick check of temperatures. We got 70 Pittsburgh, Joplin, Miami, Neosho, Anderson, Chetopa, 71s in Parsons, Neodesha, Yates Center, and the warm spot still in Chanute at 73. As we get our morning started, we're going to have those mostly clear skies. We have a few clouds out there, but nothing too bad. And we're going to go into the low 80s today by late morning instead of the mid 80s. So we're about that much cooler today than where we've been the last couple of days. We're looking at highs today near 90. Could have a couple of 90-degree readings, but mostly upper 80s. Partly cloudy skies and those pop-up storms out to the west this afternoon. But as you know, with pop-up storms, they're going to die out once we lose the heating of the day, and we'll start to go partly cloudy overnight. A little cooler, but still mild as we go back into the low to mid-60s. We also have thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend. They're going to be scattered, but hey, something's better than nothing at this point. So let's skip ahead into the weekend. We go into Saturday morning. And remember, this isn't showing rain everywhere here. It's saying these are where the best chances for some showers and thunderstorms will be as we head into our Saturday. By the afternoon and evening, look at this, 7 o'clock Saturday, 100 in Wichita, 101 in Oklahoma City, mid-90s for us here, and staying quite muggy. Let's take a look real quickly at the 7 days. So we get those pop-up storm chances tomorrow, low 90s, mid-90s into the weekend. Scattered storms, southern counties on Sunday, low to mid-90s to kick off next week with some more storm chances by Tuesday. Well, we've got another big bunch of the KOAM Morning News coming up. But first, we've got ourselves a nice live look. We are going to meet a girl, who started something all because she wanted color in her local park. But first, now we're going to show you. I was like, this doesn't look like Rainbow Bridge. That is Rainbow Bridge, just outside Baxter Springs. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We've got Captain Will Davis from the Joplin Police Department joining us this morning, and we've got a few things to talk about. It's summertime, so
That's
a lot
right.
of people are hitting the road and going on vacations, but that means that you're leaving your home vulnerable.
Absolutely. So, it's that time of year where people are going to go on vacation, and, it's always one of those, you go to town. There's several different tips that we try to inform the public, just things you can do to try to help from becoming a victim of theft or burglary or any type of vandalism, anything like that to your property. So we just tell people, if you're worried about going out of town and you're wanting your property checked on, the Joplin Police Department has a volunteer program of sentinels, and that's what they do. They'll go out, and while you're gone, they'll check on your property. They'll do intermittent checks just to make sure that everything's good. Your house hasn't been broken into. There aren't any issues going on. And so anybody interested in that, they can call up to the Joplin Police Department at any time and talk to us about it. We'd put them on a list and make sure we do those checks for them.
Just having that extra set of eyes.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. And last year we saw like an 8.5% decrease in property crime. So we're hoping that trend continues this year. So we're trying to get the education out and just telling people, make sure that if you are going to go out of town, make sure and leave your house, secured, locking your doors, your windows. It's a good thing to draw your shades or any blinds, so that way people can't see in. If you look at things like a target of opportunity, and so if you leave things exposed, you leave garage doors open, anything like that, anything inside, people can see valuable items. It's an opportunity for a burglary or a theft to take place.
So fireworks sales started earlier this week in Missouri, so that means
a
lot
time of
of
year.
bangs and blasts going on all the time, but there are rules that people need to follow.
Yep, absolutely. So I believe it's nothing past midnight, and so there's of course anything that's legal to sell in the city of Joplin. You can shoot up until that time. It's important that people understand that bottle rockets, the Chinese lanterns, they are not allowed in the city of Joplin. And so it's important that recognize what fireworks you have. Obviously, safe handling of those. We do go out and each year there's some kind of injury, or people misusing fireworks or throwing them from moving vehicles, or making improvised fireworks. And so we just ask people to just be smart and be safe this year. We don't want to see everybody have a good time, but we don't want to see anybody get injured.
And make your job easier.
Absolutely, 100%. That's right.
Well, once again, we appreciate you stopping by and
I appreciate having
sharing
me.
some important details. And if anyone has any questions about the Sentinel program, where can they find more information on that?
Yeah, feel free to call up the Joplin Police Department, 417-623-3131, or reach out to us on Facebook, Joplin Police Department. We'd love to talk to you and provide some more information and education.
All right. Thank you once again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Well, it all started with a child wanting to bring some color to our local park.
And it ended with the creation of a community snake rock. Deanna Giles has more on this creation.
It's no ordinary snake, but one made of rocks of all shapes and sizes and colors, and created by 9-year-old Amia Corbeil.
I'm really happy because usually people, when they go through the park, they're like, I wish there was color. That's what I always think. So we put it right there, so then there would be a little touch of color.
Located in the heart of Island Park and Grand Ledge, Amia thought it was the perfect place for the snake rock, putting a simple smile on people's faces.
It's a fun place to see it, you know. You come right here and that's the first thing you see when you cross the bridge.
Dozens of people have walked past this bridge and noticed a snake full of rocks from the community. No matter how big or small, you could place a rock one day at a time.
It's like friendship, technically, because you have a snake rock, which is like a person, and then you add on. So it's like a friend group, but it's actually a snake rock.
Greg and Belen Davis have seen the snake since it started last week. They say it brings the community together.
I thought it was a clever idea just to see how, long people would, make it. It's growing since the last time I've seen it, so it's a pretty cool idea for kids or, even grown-ups.
Whether it's an animal or encouraging words, there's no limit to what you can paint on the rock. And Amia says even if you feel like your art isn't good,
it's not actually bad, it's great, even though that you think it's not. It brings smile to other faces, even though it doesn't to yours, and yours smile is going on to other people's rocks.
Putting a smile on faces for many days to come.
That's so fun.
It's really cool looking too.
Nothing wrong with adding a little color to the park.
Absolutely, and as long as you don't accidentally walk by and go, oh, it is a snake. You don't want to mistake it for a real one.
All right. Well, before they come on and tell us all about it, we are going to get a little bit of a preview of an upcoming performance of Mean Girls.
And we've got those pop-up thunderstorm chances for some of us later today. The rest of us partly cloudy. We'll have another look at that forecast when we come back.
Just is here.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:32. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. The classic movie and play Mean Girls is coming to Joplin. Joplin High School is putting on the production. The show tells Katie Heron's story as she transitions into a new school and meets new friends such as Regina George, the leader of the Plastics. In total, the kids spent only about 4 weeks rehearsing to put on a phenomenal show.
When you're in high school doing theater, you're playing adults or someone so much older, so far removed from things you experience. And so they were excited to be able to portray characters that are going through the same things they're going through and, living in the world they live in.
Tickets are $10 for adults and $8 for students and seniors. You can see it this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. And if you stick around a little bit later, we're going to meet 2 of the cast members from the upcoming Mean Girls production. Picnic and some live music. That seems to be a good way to spend your day. On Wednesday, the Neosho, Missouri Arts Council hosted its Make Music Day event. It gave folks the chance to bring their own lunch and enjoy a free picnic concert. The group, Buffalo Creek Incident, performed yesterday morning at the Neosho National Fish Hatchery.
We have been sponsored with 3 different performing groups that have come through the area today so that they could share music with as many people as possible on Make Music Day.
Ozark Sky performed later in the day at the Neosho Newton County Library. Well, Joplin's newest restaurant is already making an impact in the community. The popular sandwich chain Jersey Mike's Subs grand opening took place on Wednesday, and to kick off the launch, the restaurant is supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Jasper and Newton counties. It's part of the restaurant's commitment to local communities. The restaurant is donating 100% of its sales to the nonprofit.
Jersey Mike's, always for their grand opens, gives all the money to charity. With Big Brothers and Big Sisters, we just, perfect partnership with us. Mentoring is a big thing with Jersey Mike's, as well as some of us have been Big Brothers Big Sisters mentors in our earlier lives. So easy partnership with them.
Jersey Mike's is at 1702 South Rangeline, across the street from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
We've got those pop-up thunderstorm chances later this afternoon, mainly in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. As we get our morning started, we get those sunny skies. We'll have a few clouds out there, low 80s. Highs today, primarily upper 80s, couple 90-degree readings possible. Afternoon pop-up storms out to the west, partly cloudy. And as we head into this evening with the pop-up storms, they'll die out as we lose the heating of the day. And we'll be a little cooler, but still mild, low to mid-60s overnight under partly cloudy skies. Got some pop-up storm chances tomorrow, low 90s. A little hotter this weekend, scattered storms Saturday, Sunday, and then maybe some storms on Tuesday. Tanya?
Alzheimer's is something that affects nearly everyone in some way. On a Wednesday, folks walked around downtown Pittsburgh and took photos of meaningful and memorable places and things related to Alzheimer's and dementia. It's part of a fundraiser for Alzheimer's research.
Walk to take photos that represent individuals' perspectives and thoughts about the experience of dementia or caregiving. And then those photos will be featured tonight at the opening reception for a photo exhibit that has similar photographs. It's out at the Bicknell Center at Pitt State.
After the walk, there was a reception at the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts, like she said, where people could display the photos. Those photos will be on display through Monday. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. We've got an interview so fetch you'll want to throw something on pink. We've got two cast members of Mean Girls to give us a sneak peek at what we can expect to see.
And as we mentioned, we've got those pop-up thunderstorm chances for some of us this afternoon. We're going to continue to stay hot as summer works into the area. We'll have another look at your forecast, but first, we've got ourselves a live look at Rainbow Bridge near Baxter Springs. We'll be right back.
Order your own.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining us in the studio today is, well, we've got these two wonderful performers here from Joplin High School. This is Anne Marie Wright and Amelia Campbell, and you are working on the upcoming production of Mean Girls. I'm going to lay it out right now. Never seen the movie. I don't know that much about it. So the good news is I can let you two tell us all about it. So what's going on with this production?
It's basically, it's kind of more of a dramatic portrayal of how high school is, with cliques and friendships and fighting. It's very realistic, very true to how it is, but it's just a little more, it's more picturesque, something that you can, more entertaining than real high school is, but definitely a very realistic portrayal of how friendships are, and there's a lot of drama.
It follows the story of a girl named Katie. She just moved there from Africa, and so she's new in town. She's not used to all the nuances and functions of an everyday life for a high schooler. Right. And so it kind of follows her story of trying to fit in and then getting in with the wrong crowd at some point, and she's finding herself in herself.
Yeah, becoming someone she's not, and then finding herself through that.
It's kind of like a day in the typical life of a high schooler.
Oh, yeah.
At any point, but like you said, it's just a more interesting performance, a little more entertaining than real high school life. Because I remember high school was not so entertaining.
No.
It was okay, it just wasn't super entertaining by any means. So what's it like though, because this is about high school life. You're in high school yourselves. You mentioned how it kind of seems to jive with that. Does it really jive with how high school life really is, and does that make it easier to put this on?
I think definitely, yeah.
Yes, 100%. And I think that I can speak for everyone when I say that being in high school right now it's so much easier to apply that to your character than, you know, playing a character that is older or just something you're not used to. It's really nice to be able to put a little bit of yourself into that.
And while the show is a little bit, you know, more dramatic than an everyday scenario in high school would be, the little nuances of the show and just the culture of the show and the characters and everything, being in high school, it's honestly really funny to see how similar some of the things are.
It's like, wow.
It's like, oh, well.
We do this too.
We see this every day. Yeah.
Every single day.
We love these things. We've seen these things.
In
We've been
musical
part
form.
of these things in some cases. So tell me a little bit about the show. When can people see it? What do they need to know in order to get in and watch?
Alrighty, so the show runs at 7 p.m. on Friday the 23rd and Saturday the 24th. Tickets will be for $10 for just for, you know, a general audience for adults and general admission, and then $8 for students and seniors.
All right, sounds great. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and since you're having a lot of fun putting it on, I think that makes the production better too, because you're enjoying it so much. You know, it's easier for you to play into it. So if you missed out on any of that, we'll have all this information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Ladies, thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:44 now on this Thursday morning. We have the possibility of some pop-up storms, so let's go down the road into this afternoon about 2, 3 o'clock. These are going to be isolated to widely scattered, and they're going to be primarily focused in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma, so not everybody's going to see a storm out there, but at least there's some chances for a few of us to get some rain. Now, while the main focus is out here, we could see a stray shower or two in southwest Missouri, but again, the better chances are off to the west. Now, we go into our Friday, and we could see a stray pop-up storm or two in the evening, but as you can see, that is going to be considerably more isolated as we head into Friday evening than our expectations for southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma today. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, sun shining out there, a few clouds in the sky, and a great view from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. There are those few clouds out there over Joplin. We're sitting at 70 degrees right now in the city, and we have a dew point up there, humidity up there, so it's going to be muggy again, but not terrible. 72, Iola, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, 70 in Joplin, and as we get our morning started again, we'll have those sunny skies, a few clouds going into the low 80s by late morning. We'll have more on your full forecast a little later, but now here's Tanya Bach with Consumer Watch.
Elon Musk has added 2 words into the list of recognized slurs on Twitter. Musk said on Twitter Wednesday that cis and cisgender are both now considered slurs on the social networking site. His tweet also hinted that using the words in repeated targeted harassment could lead to a temporary suspension on the platform. CIS, or cis in Latin, is Latin for on your side. And the American Psychological Association defines gender as, quote, the attitudes, feelings, and behaviors that a given culture associates with a person's biological sex. Well, Twitter is sued again for allegedly for missing payments. This time it's the annual bonuses promised to staff. A lawsuit filed on behalf of employees of the social media company in a San Francisco federal court on Tuesday. The suit alleges Twitter has not paid some former and current employees their 2022 bonus. This despite executives repeatedly assuring the workers they would receive the compensation in the lead up of Twitter's acquisition by billionaire Elon Musk. Those behind the lawsuit say they believe Twitter could owe tens of millions to a couple thousand employees. Twitter has not responded to the lawsuit. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Here on Fox 14.
Well, a game show contestant got overexcited and managed to injure himself in celebration. Now, that may sound embarrassing.
But as Jeannie Moose reports, he's not the first to get it wrong on The Price is Right.
All that wooing, all that arm pumping, a contestant named Henry was a winner at The Price is Right, but little did he know the extra price he'd pay for his enthusiasm. Yes! Whoa! One of these triumphant arm waves dislocated Henry's shoulder. When it was time to spin the wheel, his wife Alice had to do it for him. As the show posted on Instagram, he won a trip to Hawaii and the ER.
95! Don't hurt yourself.
But other contestants have hurt themselves on The Price is Right. Judy injured her ankle and made a trip to the hospital, but not before finishing the show on crutches. And back when Bob Barker was host,
come on down!
Scott didn't just come on down, he fell down in pain.
A new station wagon!
Hurt his knee. It was bad enough that it gave out.
Oh, there he goes.
Twice in one episode. On this show,
the new treadmill!
Nobody's safe, definitely not the announcer. And the host, well, Drew Carey is in constant danger of being hugged to death. At least they didn't lose any light bulbs.
Everybody!
Maybe the show should rethink its prizes.
For a 7-night stay
in the hospital,
a new station wagon!
Make that an ambulance!
This riding a lawnmower.
Hey, better than a wheelchair.
But maybe The Price is Right for game show insurance. Ginny Most, CNN, New York.
This is why I'd absolutely love to host The Price is Right. It'd be so much fun. It may be dangerous, but it's a fun dangerous.
It makes me wonder if contestants have to sign a waiver for like getting excessive arm pumping, getting an injury, or
I would hope not, but I mean, at the rate things are going, that might be something they have to consider at some point.
They should.
Well, we're going to spin the temperature wheel and come on down to another warm day across the 4 states as we are currently mild outside. We are sitting at 70 in Joplin. Humidity and dew point, both of those are up there and not oppressively so, but enough to make the afternoon uncomfortable. But look at temperatures warming up quickly. We had a little bit cooler this morning, but we got 72s everywhere. Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, Neodesha, Pittsburgh, 71 in Parsons, 73 in Chanute and Chitopa, and 74 now in Miami. As we get our day started, we have these mostly clear skies. We'll start to see a few more clouds by late morning, and that much cooler than where we were yesterday as we're in the low 80s instead of the mid 80s by late morning. However, still going to be a pretty toasty day, and we do have some pop-up storm chances out to the west. We'll take a look at that full forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Joplin woman loses her life when the car she was in crashes into a brick mailbox. Now, the crash occurred last night at about 8:30 along River Road, just east of Main Street in Joplin. A Chevy Cobalt traveling west on River Road left the roadway to the left and overturned into a large brick mailbox. The driver of the vehicle suffered minor injuries. The passenger, Liberty Fowler of Joplin, was pronounced dead at the scene. On Wednesday around 7:30 p.m., authorities responded to reports of a crash on Highway K7 just outside of Mound City, Kansas. Troopers say a 1992 Ford F-150 traveling south crossed the center line and struck a 1977 Kenworth head-on. The F-150 came to rest in the southbound ditch and caught fire. The driver of the F-150 was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the semi did not suffer any injuries.
All right, some pop-up storms possible this afternoon and evening. Southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. They're isolated, but at least a couple of us could get some rain. Upper 80s today, low 90s tomorrow. Another chance of isolated pop-up storms. Scattered storms Saturday, Sunday, a little hotter, mid-90s. We'll go low 90s to start next week with some thunderstorm chances Tuesday, and we'll go the mid-90s by Wednesday. By Wednesday. It's going to be hot.
Thursday is a day devoted to a vital part of the environment.
It's World Rainforest Day. You may not have been to a rainforest, but they are an essential part of the world ecosystem. I mean, after all, the Amazon rainforest produces 20% of the world's oxygen and fresh water. However, Organizers of this day say every minute the rainforests are losing an area equivalent to 40 football fields.
Wow, so this day aims to raise awareness about rainforest and encourage their protection. You can celebrate the day by shopping Rainforest Alliance certified products. And if you're buying palm oil, buy products with round table on sustainable palm oil or green palm logo.
It is important to save the rainforest. My youngest was explaining to me yesterday the carbon cycle and how important it is to save the planet. And he's 6, and it kind of blew my mind. And he explained it like accurately and in detail how the carbon cycle works. And I'm like, where are you learning this? And he just tells me he's watching it on his Kindle.
Aww.
He's actually learning something from his tech. Well, we want to thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. Hopefully we can teach you something at some point. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.